You have heard the word blockchain hundreds of times. Bitcoin runs on it. The tokenized bonds that JP Morgan settled in 5 seconds. Blockchain. The $30 billion in real-world assets being traded without middlemen. Blockchain. The digital currencies that central banks around the world are building right now. Blockchain. It is the most talked about technology in finance. And yet most people, including many who work in finance, could not explain in simple terms what it actually is or how it actually works. Today, that changes. Coin Explained breaks down blockchain from the ground up. No jargon, no confusion, just a clear explanation of what it is, how it works, and why it matters to you right now. What is blockchain? The simplest possible explanation. Let's start with the most basic definition and build from there. A blockchain is a database, but it is a very special kind of database, one that works completely differently from anything that came before it. A normal database is like a spreadsheet kept on one company's computer. Google keeps your data on Google's servers. Your bank keeps your account information on the bank's servers. If the company wants to change something, add a record, delete a transaction, alter a number, they can. You have to trust them not to. A blockchain is different in 2 fundamental ways. First, it is stored on thousands of computers simultaneously, not on one central server. Every computer on the network, called a node, holds an identical copy of the entire database. There is no single computer that controls it, no headquarters, no CEO with a master password. Second, the data is structured differently. Instead of rows in a spreadsheet, information is grouped into blocks. Each block contains a batch of transactions or records. When a block is full, it gets sealed and linked to the previous block, forming a chain. That is where the name comes from. Blockchain, a chain of blocks. The result is a database that is shared by everyone on the network, controlled by no single person and, as we will explain in a moment, almost impossible to tamper with. That combination of properties has never existed in any technology before, and it changes everything about how trust works in financial systems. How does it actually work? Blocks, chains, and nodes. Let's walk through what actually happens when a transaction is recorded on a blockchain, step by step. Someone initiates a transaction. Let's say you send cryptocurrency to a friend. That transaction is broadcast to the entire network of computers. Thousands of nodes around the world receive it simultaneously. The nodes verify the transaction. They check, does this person actually have the funds they are trying to send? Is the digital signature valid? This verification process happens automatically using the rules built into the blockchain software. No bank employee reviews it. No approval from a central authority is required. Once verified, the transaction is grouped together with other recent transactions into a block. That block is given a unique digital fingerprint called a hash. Think of it like a seal that captures everything inside the block. If even one tiny detail changes, one number, one letter, the hash changes completely. The block also contains the hash of the previous block. That is the chain link. Each block references the one before it, all the way back to the very first block, called the Genesis block, creating an unbroken chain of verified history. Finally, the completed block is added to the chain and distributed to every node on the network. Every computer updates its copy simultaneously. The transaction is now permanent, public, and part of the permanent record. Bitcoin's blockchain has been running continuously since January 2009. Every single transaction ever made on it is still there, visible to anyone, unchanged. That is over 16 years of unbroken financial history on a system that no single person controls. Why can nobody change or delete what's on a blockchain? This is the question that gets to the heart of why blockchain is so powerful. Imagine you wanted to go back and change a transaction that happened 3 months ago on the Bitcoin blockchain. Maybe you want to erase a payment you made or pretend you have more Bitcoin than you do. Here is the problem. Every block contains the hash of the block before it. If you change any data in a historical block, that block's hash changes. But now, it no longer matches the reference stored in the next block. So that block's hash changes too, which breaks the reference in the block after that. You would need to recalculate every single block that came after the one you changed, all the way to the present. And you would need to do all of this faster than the entire rest of the network, which is also continuously adding new blocks. In Bitcoin's case, that means outpacing thousands of computers around the world simultaneously. In practice, it is computationally impossible. This property, that past records cannot be changed without the entire network noticing, is called immutability. It is one of blockchain's most important features. Combined with decentralization, the fact that there is no single point of control, it means that blockchain creates trust between strangers without requiring anyone to trust a central authority. You do not have to trust a bank to keep your records accurate. You do not have to trust a government to maintain the ledger honestly. The mathematics and the network structure make honesty the only viable option. Real-world users of blockchain in 2026. Blockchain started as the technology behind Bitcoin. In 2026, it is being used across almost every industry. In finance, which is what this channel focuses on, the applications are enormous and growing. As we covered in the last video, JP Morgan and MasterCard settled tokenized US Treasuries on the XRP ledger in seconds. BlackRock's tokenized fund runs on Ethereum. Settlement times that used to take 2 business days now take minutes. Transaction fees that used to cost banks hundreds of millions annually are falling by 70% or more. In supply chains, companies like Walmart use blockchain to trace food products from farm to shelf. When there is a contamination outbreak, they can identify the source in seconds instead of days. IBM and Maersk built a blockchain platform tracking over 100 million shipping events per year. In healthcare, patient records stored on blockchain cannot be accidentally altered or lost. Medical credentials can be verified instantly without calling a university or licensing board. In identity, blockchain-based digital identity systems are being piloted in Estonia, the UAE, and multiple other countries, allowing citizens to verify who they are without carrying physical documents or relying on a single government database. As of 2026, Alchemy's Ecosystem Index lists 59 active blockchains, ranging from the major public networks like Bitcoin and Ethereum to Layer 2 systems designed for speed and low cost, to private blockchains built specifically for enterprise use. The technology has moved far beyond cryptocurrency. It is becoming infrastructure. Public versus private blockchains. What's the difference? One thing that confuses many people is that not all blockchains are the same. There are 2 main types, and understanding the difference matters. A public blockchain is open to anyone. Bitcoin and Ethereum are public blockchains. Anyone can join the network, verify transactions, and read the complete history of everything that has ever happened on it. There is no gatekeeper, no permission required. The transparency is total. A private blockchain, sometimes called a permissioned blockchain, is controlled by a specific organization or group of organizations. Only authorized participants can join, validate transactions, or read the data. JP Morgan's Onyx platform is a private blockchain. The settlement systems being built by major banks are typically private or consortium blockchains, shared among a defined group of institutions rather than open to the public. Each has its advantages. Public blockchains offer maximum transparency and decentralization. No single entity can control them. Private blockchains offer speed, privacy, and compliance with regulations that require controlling who can see financial data. The trend in 2026 is toward interoperability, the ability for different blockchains to talk to each other. A public blockchain like the XRP ledger settling a transaction initiated on a private bank system. a tokenized asset created on one chain being transferred to another. The future is not one blockchain that does everything. It is a network of specialized blockchains working together. The same way the internet is a network of different systems all communicating through shared protocols. Blockchain is not complicated. It is a shared database stored on thousands of computers, organized in linked blocks, and protected by mathematics that makes past records effectively impossible to change. That combination of properties, decentralization, transparency, and immutability is what makes it the foundation of the new financial system we have been building toward across this entire series. Hit subscribe and turn on the bell. Next week on Coin Explained. What is a smart contract? How can a piece of code replace a lawyer, an estate agent, or an insurance company? See you there.